Have you ever looked at your reflection and quietly asked, "Am I still beautiful?" It's a tender question many older women, like Dorothy or Eleanor, silently carry with them. Over time, compliments become less frequent. Glances seem to pass quicker. And the world begins to hint that beauty has a deadline. But what if that notion is completely false? What if true beauty doesn't disappear with age, it simply evolves? What if your silver strands, soft laugh lines, and kind eyes are actually markers of a deeper, more enduring beauty, one shaped by wisdom, self-assurance, and grace? You might be surprised to know that many women don't realize how attractive they still are because they're searching for the wrong signals. Today, we're going to explore 7 gentle yet undeniable signs that you're still a truly beautiful woman, even if no one has reminded you lately. And maybe, just maybe, by the end, you'll start to see yourself a little differently. So, if you've ever felt unseen or questioned whether anyone notices you anymore, stay with me. What you'll hear today could gently reshape how you view your own reflection. This conversation is one that isn't shared nearly enough. Beauty doesn't vanish with the years. In fact, countless women in their late 60s and beyond carry a subtle, powerful beauty that captures attention without even trying. You don't need cosmetic fixes or to look decades younger. What you truly need is to recognize the signs, the small, meaningful cues that show you still have a presence that lights up a room. A quiet magnetism that no age can dull. In this video, I'll be sharing 7 warm and revealing signs that prove you are, without question, still a beautiful woman. Even if the mirror has been silent, or the world has forgotten to tell you so, these signs are still there. Some of them may surprise you, and a few might even bring a knowing smile to your face because part of you already sensed them, but didn't yet have the words. If you're new here, welcome. This is a space where your journey is respected, your voice matters, and your beauty is truly honored. If this message brings you comfort, feel free to subscribe and stay with us for more. Now, let's gently step into these 7 signs you might be more radiant than you ever imagined. One of the most honest and often unnoticed indicators that you're still a beautiful older woman is how often people mistake your age. It happens in fleeting, everyday moments. A nurse pauses and double-checks your birth year. A cashier takes a second glance at your ID, eyebrows raised. Or a young neighbor blurts out, "Wait, really? I thought you were just hitting your early 60s." These aren't just casual remarks, they're subtle reflections of how people see your energy, your posture, your natural glow. And they reveal something you may not have noticed. You carry a timeless kind of beauty. That kind of presence goes beyond the number on your birth certificate. Consider Evelyn, a 71-year-old retired librarian. She's soft-spoken, always put together in soothing, earth-toned outfits. At her granddaughter's school play, a fellow parent leaned in and asked, "Are you her mom?" Evelyn chuckled, thinking it was meant as a joke, but the woman was completely serious. And this wasn't a one-time thing. At the gym, the market, even during a cruise with her sister, people regularly assumed she was 10 years younger. It wasn't just her appearance that gave that impression, it was how she moved, how she smiled, and the way she carried herself with quiet ease. She didn't rely on bold makeup or flashy clothes. Evelyn radiated a kind of steady confidence that drew people in, and that natural grace had its own kind of allure. There's actually science to support this. Studies have shown that when it comes to perceiving beauty in older adults, people don't focus solely on skin smoothness or wrinkle count. Instead, things like body posture, facial expressiveness, tone of voice, and overall demeanor play a far more significant role. Research out of Boston University found that older adults who maintain an upright stance, expressive features, and active social lives are frequently seen as both more attractive and notably younger than they really are. So your beauty might be reflected not in the mirror, but in how you carry yourself, laugh, and engage with the world. So, what does this mean for you? First, it's time to stop deflecting those compliments. When someone says, "You don't look your age," resist the urge to brush it off or downplay it. Just smile and say, "Thank you," because what they're seeing is real. And second, nurture the habits that support your inner glow. Stay hydrated. Get good sleep. Spend time with people who energize you. And wear colors that complement your natural features. These small acts keep your light shining from the inside out. Sometimes beauty isn't about looking youthful, it's about carrying a spirit that uplifts those around you. And speaking of that spirit, let's talk about another quiet sign that your beauty still speaks volumes. The way you draw attention when you walk into a room. Even if it's subtle, you still turn heads. One of the gentlest yet most telling indicators of enduring beauty is when people notice you without saying a word. You don't need to wear bold prints or make a grand entrance. But somehow, when you walk into a space, eyes linger just a bit longer. It's that brief look, that soft pause, that unspoken moment that says, she still has it. Take Carol, for instance. She's 68, a widow, lives in a cozy, humble home, and spends her days giving back through volunteer work at the local senior center. Carol never saw herself as glamorous or especially striking, but during a spring luncheon at the center, something unexpected happened. Wearing a modest floral dress and a pair of pearl earrings, she walked in with her usual quiet grace and noticed several people glance her way. A few of the younger volunteers offered her a seat and smiled kindly. Later, one leaned in and said, "I hope I age like you. You're just so lovely." Carol was taken aback. She hadn't worn anything fancy, hadn't styled her hair any differently. But that day, she felt something inside an inner calm, a sense of self-acceptance. And it turned out others felt it too. This is the kind of beauty that speaks without saying a word. When a woman enters a room with grace, kindness in her gaze, and a soft smile, she doesn't need to announce herself. Her presence says it all. Research published in the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior shows that people respond instinctively to unspoken cues. The way someone carries herself, the gentleness in her walk, her expressions. A relaxed posture, warm eyes, and steady movements quietly send a message of beauty and confidence. Here's the best part: you don't need flashy fashion or a flawless body to be magnetic. Sometimes, it's in how your scarf rests on your shoulder, the way your hands move with elegance, or how freely you laugh when something tickles you. These little things create a kind of light around you when people notice, even if they can't quite name it. To nourish that kind of presence, focus less on appearance and more on feeling grounded. Wear clothes that bring you ease and joy. Walk with purpose. Let your authentic warmth shine through. While these subtle signs are lovely, sometimes the recognition is far more direct and can come from people you've never even met. One of the clearest signals that your beauty hasn't faded is when strangers feel moved to compliment you. Let's look at Elaine. She's 74 and lives in a quiet neighborhood with her 2 cats. Each Sunday, she strolls to the farmer's market, canvas toed over one arm and a wide sun hat on her head. One morning, as she was picking apples, a young man beside her smiled and said, "I hope it's all right to say, but you have a beautiful smile. It really made my day." It made my day. Elaine was taken aback. She hadn't even realized she'd been smiling. It was such a small, spontaneous moment, but it lingered in her heart for days. And it wasn't the first time either. Over the years, she'd heard similar words from store clerks, baristas, and even a little girl at the park who once said she looked like a kind queen. These compliments weren't about flawless skin or perfect makeup. They were about her energy, her presence, and the warmth that shone through her expressions. There's actually a psychological concept called emotional resonance. It refers to how people naturally respond to the emotional energy others give off. When your face is relaxed, open, and sincere, especially when you offer a genuine smile, it activates mirror neurons in the observer's brain. That's why we're often drawn to people who smile effortlessly or carry themselves with quiet confidence. A study conducted at the University of California revealed that individuals with warm smiles and expressive eyes were consistently rated as more attractive regardless of age, weight, or facial symmetry. So, if someone has ever complimented your smile or your eyes, especially a stranger who had no reason to, you should know that it wasn't just flattery. It was a true reflection of the emotional beauty you're radiating outward. And let's not forget about style. Many older women develop a personal sense of fashion that feels true to their spirit, whether it's a stack of silver bracelets, a bold red lip, a flowing scarf, or a well-loved vintage jacket. When someone compliments your style, they're not just noting what you're wearing. They're appreciating the self-expression, the confidence, and the thoughtful choices that went into how you show up in the world. And the most beautiful part? Personal style never goes out of date. While compliments from strangers are meaningful, there's another kind of recognition that's just as telling: and it comes from women who know exactly what aging gracefully requires. When other women around your age start asking you questions about your hair, your skin, or your habits, that's a quiet but powerful form of admiration. Take June, for example. She's 70, and she remembers the first time it happened at her church potluck. A woman sitting beside her leaned in and said, "June, I have to ask, your skin always looks so soft. What do you use?" June smiled and shared her simple routine: a gentle face wash, a touch of olive oil before bed, and sunscreen every morning. But from that day forward, more and more women began asking June about her silver bob, the soft blush lipstick she wore, even the delicate floral scent she always seemed to carry. At first, she was caught off guard. June had never thought of herself as particularly stylish or youthful, but as she heard these questions again and again, she came to realize that her quiet self-care wasn't just working, it was inspiring others. Admiration between women, especially as we grow older, holds deep meaning. With age comes discernment, honesty, and an appreciation for authenticity. So when one woman compliments another, it's rarely superficial. It's an acknowledgement of everything behind the glow. The early mornings, the hydration, the nourishing meals, and the choice to carry oneself with quiet pride. Psychologists refer to this as mirrored admiration. The things we notice and value in others are often what we hope to cultivate within ourselves. So when women in your age group start turning to you for advice on beauty or wellness, take that as a sign. You've become a gentle source of inspiration. And no, it doesn't mean you need a 10-step routine or the latest skincare trend. What truly stands out is not what's on your shelf, but what you carry in your spirit: steadiness, authenticity, and self-respect. It's not about appearing 45. It's about showing up as the very best version of yourself at 70. And when beauty is shared among women, it becomes something truly life-giving. It creates bonds, starts conversations, and reminds us all that aging isn't about fading away, it's about stepping into who we've always been. So the next time someone leans in and asks, "What's your secret?" let your smile be the answer. You're still glowing, and others are paying attention. Now, while compliments from peers are affirming, sometimes the most powerful reflections of beauty come in the very language people use when they speak about you. Because often, beauty doesn't shout, it whispers in words like graceful, elegant, and charming. It's not always easy to define what makes someone beautiful. And so instead of hearing terms like gorgeous or pretty, women like Ruth, now 70, are often described with deeper, more enduring words. Ruth doesn't wear bright prints or bold makeup. Her style is classic. A strand of pearls, a soft knit sweater, comfortable flats. But at every family gathering, someone inevitably says, "She's just so elegant," or "There's something incredibly graceful about her." Quo. At first, Ruth used to smile and brush it off, assuming it was just a polite way of saying she'd aged well. But over time, she came to understand something deeper. Elegance is its own kind of beauty, one that doesn't diminish with years but becomes more refined. Grace is more than posture. It's how you speak with gentleness, how you listen with intention, and how you offer kindness without expectation. Elegance lives in the way you carry yourself, how you pause before speaking, how your shoulders remain gently lifted, even when no one's watching. And charm? Charm is that inner spark that doesn't dim with time. It shines through when you greet someone with a warm smile, when you share a story with light in your voice, or when your quiet presence alone brings comfort to the room. These qualities are like aged wine, they don't fade, they deepen, becoming richer with time. Psychologists call this aesthetic maturity. As we age, our perceptions of beauty shift. Studies in social psychology reveal that emotional intelligence, calm confidence, and poise become key elements of attractiveness. That's why someone who may not have matched traditional beauty standards in youth can become captivating later in life, because she's learned the art of connection, the strength of kindness, and the grace of walking through life with dignity. Surveys of older adults consistently find that words like graceful and elegant are among the highest compliments given to women who are truly admired. So the next time someone uses one of those words to describe you, don't dismiss it, receive it. Because it means your beauty is doing something more than catching the eye, it's touching the heart. And no wrinkle, no passing year can take that away. But beauty isn't just recognized through appearance or words. Sometimes it reveals itself in the simple, thoughtful actions others take when you're around, even when you don't expect it. Which brings us to another gentle sign that you still turn heads, even if you don't notice it. You still receive small acts of chivalry. Attractiveness isn't always spoken. Sometimes it's shown through kindness, courtesy, and gestures that quietly say, "You matter." You might not think much of it at the time, but when someone holds the door for you, offers you their seat, or insists on helping you carry your bags, they're doing more than being polite. These moments often speak louder than compliments. Consider Helen, who's 60, walks with confidence, and carries a soft glow in her eyes. One morning, while grabbing coffee at her favorite cafe, a young man, maybe in his 20s, stood and offered her his seat by the window. She hesitated, but he smiled and said, "Please, ma'am, you look like someone who deserves the sunshine." She laughed, touched by his words. It wasn't about age, it was about the presence she brought with her. Little gestures like these, someone holding an umbrella over you, letting you go ahead in line, or pausing to let you passer, are often quiet forms of admiration. And when they come from strangers, especially those younger than you, they carry even more weight. They show that your presence still has an impact. Your femininity, your grace, they haven't gone unnoticed. Sociologists refer to this as perceived social value, and it's not just about physical appearance. It's about how people feel when they're near you. When someone makes space for you, offers you kindness, or simply includes you with warmth, it often reflects the quiet aura you've cultivated over a lifetime. That kind of presence comes from experience, self-respect, and the way you've consistently treated others. These aren't grand gestures. They're simple, human moments, but they carry weight. They remind you that just by being yourself, you still influence the world around you. And while some might chalk it up to good manners, let's be honest, people, don't extend those small courtesies to everyone. If they're doing it for you, they've noticed something gentle, graceful, and unmistakably beautiful. So the next time someone waves you ahead in line, offers a kind smile, or insists you take the better seat, accept it. It's not charity. It's recognition. You still bring light into the room. Even if you don't see it, others do. Now, while the ways people respond to you are meaningful, perhaps the most powerful sign of beauty comes from a place far more personal, from within. Because there's nothing more radiant than a woman who is truly, unapologetically comfortable in her own skin. That inner peace, that quiet assurance isn't loud or showy. It doesn't seek approval or validation. It simply exists. And when it does, it shines. Take Dorothy, 73, who had spent much of her life wrestling with self-image. In her 40s, she worried constantly about her figure. In her 50s, it was the fine lines around her eyes. And in her 60s, she feared she was fading into the background. But somewhere in her early 70s, something changed. One morning, as she brushed her hair, she paused at the mirror not to critique, but to really see. And for the first time, she smiled. Not because she looked young, but because she finally saw someone she admired. That day, she pulled on her favorite soft blue blouse, dabbed on rose lipstick, and walked to the park. She greeted neighbors, complimented strangers, and sat near the fountain feeling entirely herself. "I never realized I could feel this free," she later said. "I didn't need to be told I looked good, I already knew it." This kind of self-acceptance is magnetic. Research in the field of positive psychology confirms that people are instinctively drawn to those who exude authenticity. And it's not about perfect features or youthful skin. It's about ease, about comfort, about showing up fully as yourself and liking who you've become. That kind of ease sends a powerful message. I know who I am, and I genuinely appreciate the woman I've become. And honestly, there's nothing more radiant than that. It doesn't mean you're immune to insecurities or that every day feels perfect. We all have those moments. But when you show up with authenticity, when you walk into the world as your full self, people are drawn not to the surface but to the spirit within. The sparkle in your eyes as you speak about your garden, the softness in your voice when talking to your grandchildren, the quiet strength in the way you move, these are all signs of someone who has grown into her beauty, not away from it. So if you start most mornings feeling a gentle sense of peace, if you can smile at your reflection, dance while cooking dinner, or laugh at the little things you're living proof of something rare. You are beautiful. And perhaps more importantly, you know it now. Now that we've walked through all 7 signs, let's pause and really take it in. These aren't just feel-good ideas, they're reflections of your truth. Your beauty is real. Your presence still leaves a mark. Your story. Your journey, it all matters more than you might think. If you're still here reading, it likely means something in this message resonated with you. Why not share that connection by dropping a 6 in the comments? That little number lets me know you're here. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing and tapping the bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming reflections. Let's take a moment to hold on to what we've uncovered today. Maybe you've noticed people sometimes think you're younger than your age, and that's not just flattering. That's presence. Perhaps you've still caught a glance or two across the room and didn't realize that quiet attention was admiration. Maybe a stranger once told you your smile lit up their day. Maybe someone your age asked what moisturizer you use or where you get your haircut and meant it as a sincere compliment. You've been called words like graceful or charming, and now, maybe you see what those words have always tried to say. You've received kindness from others not out of pity but respect. And at the heart of it all, you've reached a place where you can be fully at home in your own skin. Perhaps before today, you didn't recognize these signs for what they truly were. But now you do. They are proof that your beauty hasn't gone anywhere. It has simply evolved. And the most wonderful part? Each of these signs can deepen, beginning today, with a little more tenderness toward yourself. A bit more attention to the things that make you feel alive. And a whole lot of love. You can continue stepping into each day with radiance from the inside out. And if any part of this message touched something in your heart, I'd be honored to hear it. Share one thing that resonated with you. Maybe a moment where you recognized yourself. Or something you've only just started to believe again. If something in today's reflection spoke to your heart, I'd love for you to share it. Maybe it was a moment that felt familiar, or a piece of yourself you'd forgotten to cherish. I read every single comment, and your words truly do mean so much to me. Thank you for choosing to spend part of your day here. Your presence, your wisdom, and your quiet beauty, they matter more than you realize. And if this message brought you any sense of comfort or encouragement, please consider subscribing and passing it along to another woman who might need to hear it too. Until we meet again, be gentle with yourself. Be patient with your heart. And offer yourself the same grace you so easily give to others. You are seen. You are appreciated. You are deeply, deeply loved.